Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today evening news for Monday, March 12. I am Mary-Claire Williams. Our top story this evening, the Barbados Labour Party's General Secretary, Dr. Jerome Walcott, hits back at the leader of the Barbados Integrity Movement, Neil Holder, over his criticism of the BLP's motorcade on the weekend. Holder said the BLP disregarded the sanctity of the Lenten season by staging motorcades. But Dr. Walcott, addressing a BLP rally in St. George last night, said it was not the first time this was done.
This person, with or without integrity, had over 5 minutes on CBC Today to criticize and castigate the Barbados Labour Party because we were having meetings and because I believe Comrade Ronald Toppin had a motorcade. And that we were having all of these activities during Lent. And it meant that the Barbados Labour Party is non-religious and non-Christian. What nonsense! The last election, for the benefit of Neil Holder and all the others with integrity like him, was held on the 21st of February 2013. Ash Wednesday was the 13th of February 2013. Not only were there motorcades, there were cuss matches as far as the DLP was concerned. So what nonsense. And CBC can carry that for 5 minutes as a major news item. They need to go and check their library record.
BLP candidate for St. Michael's South Central, Marsha Cadell, says government can no longer blame the failing economy on the global financial crisis. Addressing a meeting in Clapham, St. Michael last weekend, Cadell made reference to a recent statement from the CDB's Director of Economics that Barbados bears the heaviest debt burden compared to other Caribbean countries.
Grenada and St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda have all recovered and are growing. And you don't have to take my word for it. A few weeks ago, the Director of Economics at the Caribbean Development Bank up the hill there said it. He said, Barbados is the only country in the region that is not going to grow over the next year. And why is it not going to grow? Not because there's anything wrong with our people, not because there's anything fundamentally wrong with the country. The only thing wrong with Barbados right now today is the Democratic Labour Party.
Labour Minister Dr Esther Byer-Suckoo is putting employers on notice that they will no longer be able to avoid appearing before the Employment Rights Tribunal. Dr Byer-Suckoo told last night's DLP meeting that some employers are refusing to appear before the tribunal, thereby contributing to the backlog of cases.
But I have given the instruction that effective immediately, when an employer is notified that that case is being heard, after they've had notices, the next notice will say this is set for hearing on X day. If you don't show up, we will assume that you have no objection and we are moving forward with it. Because we have some cases at the tribunal that are sitting there, and the only reason they're still sitting there, because we hear us talk about the backlog sometimes, there's many cases there, the only reason they're still there is because they've been trying to get the employers. But the employers, like, they feel that if they don't answer, it will go away.
Cyclists and motorists appear to be taking no chances in ensuring that they comply with the Road Traffic Amendment Act, which took effect last month. They've been flocking to local stores to purchase helmets and Bluetooth sets. And store owners are also reporting a shortage of helmets. Barbados Today spoke to some owners in Bridgetown earlier today.
Yes, we received 2 shipments of helmets since the passing of the bill, and we sold out each time.
Okay, so how many helmets did you actually bring in for this shipment?
We received 70 helmets.
And that was this morning?
And that was this morning,
and you were left with 4 helmets now?
Yes, please.
We sell out of all our Bluetooth stock, and we're now looking to get in more helmets as well. Every customer so far has come for either one of the two. Them is the hot sellers now.
In fact, we sold out of helmets within 2 days, very soon after it was announced. Well, I think anything that improves safety for cyclists is a good thing.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back with news from the region. Public school teachers in Jamaica stayed away from the classroom today to protest the government's failure to meet their demands for higher salaries. We get the details in this report from TVJ News.
School is out, and images like these confirmed it. Students and parents from several schools across the island had to make different plans as teachers kept their promise and stayed off the job. Bad timing, as some students are preparing to sit the Grade 6 Achievement Test GSAT as well as CSEC exams. Teachers are upset the government decided to pay a 16% wage increase over 4 years, even though the Jamaica Teachers Association rejected the offer. One parent whose child attends a school in the corporate area has agreed with the position taken by teachers.
We need to do some more for the teachers, likewise for the self-employed. That's me, yes, and the rest of parents of Jamaica. If it was for the teacher, probably I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. So I'm spelling my name, so they need to get paid. You got what I'm saying? They are your gatekeepers, and if you let them loose, you will find a revolution.
Over in St. Elizabeth, approximately 80% of teachers fail to turn up for classes. At the Glen Stewart Primary School, TVJ News understands there was a 90% non-attendance by teachers.
Over in Grenada, the CARICOM Observer Mission has been meeting with key stakeholders on the island ahead of tomorrow's general election. The mission is held by Director of Legal Affairs, Development and Research in Jamaica, Pauline Welch. The team has been holding talks with the Supervisor of Elections, the Police Commissioner and the Conference of Churches, as well as other organizations. The mission has also met with Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell and leader of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Nazim Burke. On the international scene, British Prime Minister Theresa May has told MPs that the former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter were likely poisoned by a military-grade nerve agent of a type developed by Russia. The Foreign Office has summoned Russia's ambassador to provide an explanation, and May says if there is no credible response by the end of Tuesday, the UK would conclude that there has been an unlawful use of force by Moscow.
It is now clear that Mr. Skripal and his daughter were poisoned with a military-grade nerve agent of a type developed by Russia. This is part of a group of nerve agents known as Novichok. Based on the positive identification of this chemical agent by world-leading experts at the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory at Porton Down, our knowledge that Russia has previously produced this agent and would still be capable of doing so, Russia's record of conducting state-sponsored assassinations, and our assessment that Russia views some defectors as legitimate targets for assassinations, the government has concluded that it is highly likely that Russia was responsible for the act against Sergei and Yulia Skripal. Mr. Speaker, there are therefore only two plausible explanations for what happened in Salisbury on the 4th of March. Either this was a direct act by the Russian state against our country, or the Russian government lost control of its potentially catastrophically damaging nerve agent and allowed it to get into the hands of others. This afternoon, my right honourable friend, the Foreign Secretary, has summoned the Russian ambassador to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office and asked him to explain which of these two possibilities it is, and therefore to account for how this Russian-produced nerve agent could have been deployed in Salisbury against Mr. Skripal and his daughter.
That's news this evening. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Marie Claire Williams. Good evening.